super rich, of the controllers, the international bankers and the international corporate leaders. New World Order is just a catchphrase for globalism or global government. So we have all these economies that are interwoven, and we have corporations today. There's a great documentary called The Corporation that have economies that are bigger than nations, and they have their own armies and their own kill squads. Because what our government does is they stage false flag terrorist drills, then they make them go live, people die, and they use that as a justification to expand government, to grow DHS, to set up more police state. That's how wicked and evil and grotesque our government has become. It's a Nazi police state. And I mean, that's truer today than it's ever been before. And everything that, all the news that we watch and we observe is that it is a Nazi police state. It just hasn't gone full force. Now, we're going to talk about the photos of the Boston as they cheered. And we're going to shift into the Boston bombing for the remainder of our time. Boston cheers for martial law after FBI bombings. The politicians and the international banks who have combined forces to take over America and leave, and at the same time create a police state so that the only sector of economic growth is military and police that are establishing themselves through DHS to suppress the people. So then they come in with federal money after they've stolen everything from you. They come in with federal money and they say, oh, what he's saying, our opportunities, we try to create jobs for West Virginians. So these are the jobs. That's why war, that's why a crashed economy or a depression can be referred to as a backdoor draft. So right now the military, you're getting all these kids that want to sign up because there's no opportunities in the economy. Okay, we in these group of politicians, we don't want to raise the debt ceiling, and we don't want to fund Obamacare because it's horrible. And then the president says to the USDA, no more food stamps for you if we don't get this debt ceiling raised and we don't fund Obamacare. About a zombie virus in 2 different episodes, I believe at least, where we talked about governments, it's declassified, the government has weaponized polio and smallpox, but you can also look up on National Geographic that the zombie virus is an airborne version of the rabies. Or a more powerful form of rabies that is airborne. That's National Geographic, okay? So it's not a conspiracy theory that your government is developing bioweapons. And
state health officials addressed hundreds of concerned parents and community members here at Leroy Junior Senior High School. But for some of them, the information that officials had to give just wasn't enough.
We do have some answers. We will share as much as we can without sharing the diagnosis. We can't do that. It's not right. It's a federal issue. Share as much as we can without sharing the diagnosis. We can't do that. It's not right. It's a federal issue. We can't do that. It's not right. It's without sharing the diagnosis. We can't do that. It's not right. It's a federal issue. Share as much as we can without sharing the diagnosis. We can't do that. It's not right. It's a federal issue. We can't do that. It's not right. It's a federal issue, but it's not. We can't do that. It's not right. It's a federal issue. Share as much as we can without sharing the diagnosis. We can't do that. It's not right. It's a federal issue. We can't do that. It's not right. It's a federal issue, but it's without sharing the diagnosis. We can't do that.
With dirt, and now this came from the sky. It didn't blow in. It came with the rain. Now our skies are this dirty. So here's the mystery. What caused this dust and this dirt to come in and land on everybody's vehicles? I mean, we've been sick.
It's everywhere. See the oily finish? It's all over everything. There's see the oily shit on my car? Right there, corrects it. All right. Right here, oily. What else could it be? What else could it possibly be? We need to start suing some people here, folks. I don't know if that's going to do any good because we're all freaking going to get sick from this crap. Everybody's going to be sick. Research the Exxon Valdez and how many people lived after using that core exit up there. Research it. Find out. See all this crap here? I'm in California. And it's on my car here in California.
Tell me what you believe is happening on your skin. It's like fibers that come out of your skin?
Yes, there's this fibrous material. It's in layers.
I look at your arm.
Our hands swell and they itch, and
it's been described as feeling as if either bugs are crawling on the surface of your skin or underneath your skin.
Both horrifying and fascinating, from here in Florida to the Bay Area. Something seems to be causing a mysterious new disease.
In my mind, an engineer that sacrificed himself with this virus and it created this horrific...
What we thought we knew is just a tiny tributary of what's actually going on.
We'll find out who this was.
They are not gods.
They say out of slow-healing skin lesions will come bizarre filaments.
We are now mapping. Those engineers made something they shouldn't have.
We know that there is something real going on here.
Where did he come from?
Paradise.
take us home. If you don't stop it, there won't be any home to go back to.
Big things have small beginnings.
And that his mother, me, needed a thorough psychiatric evaluation.
Instead of a psych evaluation, Mary began poring through the medical literature, looking for clues. What she discovered was a 17th century reference to a strange disease with so-called harsh hairs called Morgellons. And she says other doctors might also, if only they would look.
And the few that have seen patients often have never actually gotten down with either a handheld microscope or a dermatoscope and looked at the patient's skin to see these fibers.
On the day we filmed this, Wymore's colleague, Dr. Rhonda Casey, examined that chronic sore on Drew's lip, which, after 5 years, still had not healed.
Plain as day, definitely a fiber. There are
which is really the new command center for the Illuminati and the United States government. Well, forget the United States government. This is a headquarters for the Illuminati. This is where they'll ship most of their supplies. When they go underground, they can stay underground for quite some time. And this is stocked with food, water, everything they need. It's an underground city.
You have 4 unread messages.
Of course. Why would you back up, you dumbass, when you can come around me? Yeah. Even in the tunnel, cars and people and cars drive like frickin' idiots.
Take a day or two of this year, here just real soon. Officers in the U.S. military didn't seem to be aware of Obama and the globalist plan converging on Denver for a DEFCON 1 meeting, meaning nuclear war imminent, a cocked pistol drill. Email was sent to the U.S. Air Force Office of Special Investigations on September 21st of 2011 to alert them to a planned false flag nuclear detonation on U.S. soil somewhere in the American Midwest. The U.S. Air Force Office of Special Investigations were the ones who raided the Citadel gun and safe store in Las Vegas on August 21st to recover stolen nuclear warhead detonators. They were the ones who intercepted the transfer of improvised nuclear warheads by the CIA in the tunnels that connected the deep underground military bases on August 23, 2011. The impoverished nuclear bombs, the W-54 style warheads, they were being transferred via those tunnels to Washington, D.C. and New York City when they detonated during a firefight between U.S. military personnel and the criminal CIA, DHS, FEMA operatives. It would appear that the U.S. military had a deadline to meet and has already damaged, destroyed, or sealed at least 13 underground tunnels or bases, and perhaps their incentive was the fact that Obama, his shadow government, and the globalists had made plans to save their own hides while leaving the rest of us to fend for ourselves. Perhaps they investigated and confirmed that another false flag nuclear detonation was imminent and acted accordingly to prevent it.
The following video details the contents of a Department of Defense document entitled Internment and Resettlement Operations, also known as FM 3-39.40. The document is 325 pages long and it is signed by Joyce E. Morrow, Administrative Assistant to the Secretary of the Army. It was created in 2010, however, has just been recently leaked to the public via the internet and can now be downloaded from multiple sources. In the description below, you'll find a download link for the document. I strongly encourage you to download it yourself and to verify everything that's being said here. The document outlines military procedures for internment and resettlement of civilians, and it describes the layout and the administration of these internment camps. It clearly states on page 38 that it applies within U.S. territory, and it specifically addresses the detainment of U.S. citizens, as is indicated by the identification procedures for new prisoners on page 146, which states that social security numbers are to be recorded alongside their photograph and fingerprints. Included in the list of organizations which may be involved in these internment operations are the Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, the Department of Defense, and the United Nations. On page 56, the document outlines the responsibilities of psychological operations officers within the camps, among which it states that a PSYOP officer develops and executes indoctrination programs to reduce or remove antagonistic attitudes and identifies political activists. On page 281, the document goes into more detail regarding the role of psychological operations within the camps, specifically in regards to pacifying the population and ensuring cooperation. On page 238, it gives the conditions for the use of deadly force in such camps. Among the justifications for lethal force, it includes to terminate an active escape attempt. That point right there should make it clear that these camps are not benevolent disaster relief type facilities. On page 244, the document calls for the use of snipers during riots to, quote, scan a crowd and identify agitators and riot leaders for apprehension and fire lethal rounds if warranted. On page 260, it shows the basic layout for a facility focusing on detainment. It is depicted with interrogation areas, tribunal areas, and mortuaries. Each detainment facility is designed to hold 4,000 prisoners, and they are depicted with multiple levels of barbed wire separating compartments within the facilities, with a double barbed wire fence enclosing them, and watched over by 24 guard towers. On page 261, the document depicts the layout for what they call civilian resettlement facilities, which are designed to house 8,000 people. Though it uses the word resettlement, the plans show multiple levels of barbed wire dividing the sections of the facility, with double barbed wire fencing on the outside, as well as 16 guard towers. On page 262, the layout for facilities designed for what they call non-compliant prisoners is shown. These camps are designed to hold up to 300 prisoners, they have 3 interrogation centers, and are guarded by 13 guard towers. Now, if there's any question whether these plans are active or just theoretical, this should be settled by the fact that the U.S. Army has been running ads for job positions in these camps since 2009, and apparently, they're still hiring. Once again, if you look in the description, you'll find all the links you need to verify this information. It's important to note here that this document was created in 2010, which was under the Obama administration, and it predates the NDAA of 2012, which authorized military detainment of U.S. citizens. This clearly shows a long-term agenda at work. If you believe that this is important information for people to know about, then please share this video with as many people as you can.
This is a message to the Russian army and the Russian people. This great Russian Major General, Konstantin P. Petrov, saw the Pharaoh show and knows how the Nazi Templars of Octagon, Switzerland were the brain behind World War II, who are responsible for the murder on 25 million Russians because the Swiss Nazi Octagon Templars financed and ordered Hitler throughout the whole war. Let's team up.
Сейчас вот это то, что многие политики называют мировое правительство, силы Запада, там как Жириновский, мировое закулисье, это и есть. И сейчас, начиная со времен Древнего Египта, вот эта мафия, которая управляет процессами на планете Земля, она мигрировала, и сейчас ее основная штаб-квартира – это Швейцария. Кстати, вот информация к размышлению. Многие зрители наверняка смотрели фильм «17 мгновений весны» про Штирлиц. Если там помните, вот вся Европа полыхала в пожарах войны, а доктор Плечнер кормил лебедей в Женевском озере. И спрашивается, если фюрер был такой лихой малый, то почему бы ему не взять и не грабануть швейцарские банки? Там же ведь деньги, золото лежало. А Гитлер туда не пошел. То есть Швейцария была неприкосновенной. Почему? Да потому что Гитлер прекрасно понимал, что в Швейцарии находятся его хозяева. И весь победный марш Гитлера по Европе был ничем иным, как сдача ему под единое руководство всего людского, промышленного и военного потенциала Европы для броска на СССР. А зачем? А дело в том, что осуществляя вот эту самую глобализацию, вот эти глобализаторы, они подвели человечество к глобальному системному кризису. И
This rare picture shows Adolf Hitler in Zurich, Switzerland in 1923, when the Swiss Templars financed him 30,000 Swiss francs, which is about €500,000 today, for the first financing only. And for the rest of the war, the Swiss Nazi Templars gave all the orders and made the concentration camps possible, even ordering them. These are all Swiss Nazi Templars' ideas.
ее уже мы продаем. Я вот помню маленьким мальчиком, то есть я из-под крана запросто воду пьешь, и, в общем-то, никаких проблем. А теперь из-под крана вряд ли кто воду пьет. Даже детишки уже не пьют. Они знают, бутылочки надо покупать, продавать там, из них водичку пить. Следующая проблема вот в этом смысле, чтобы представить ее, как она решается. Вот представьте, мы та самая мафия. Мы живем в Швейцарии. Вот. А в Чернобыле как жахнуло, как говорил Петруха, помните, в белом солнце пустыни. И радиоактивное облачко может до нас докатиться, и с неба дождичек может покапать.